Hello there folks, it's me RGB from RGBTV, and I've got another one of those Hive against Burgersasu games ready to go, ready to be enjoyed by both you and I. So I'm gonna just turn on the entire screen. We've got Burgersasu here on the name QOQOEFOQ, which means something on the Korean keyboard, because the Korean keyboard is basically the normal keyboard. It's just the letters are switched around with Korean signs, and then it means something. So if anyone who is Korean in my viewer base knows what this means, please do tell me so that I know, and I can tell the viewers what it means. Please share the knowledge. So here we got 3050 Hive. A player we have seen from the previous game is a really good player. He played really solid. So did Burgersasu, and in the end, sadly, Hive won with a mind control. Although I do think that Hive could have won without the mind control. But he went for the mind control anyway. It was his plan all along. I was a little bit sad with how that game played out, but it is just the way it is. And I hope this time around, Burgersasu and Hive don't have to deal, I hope they don't have to deal or resort to mind control this time around. Because I hate mind control, it devalues the quality of the game in a 1v1. But let's just hope that everything's gonna work out just perfectly fine here. I got high expectations for both of these players. Burgersasu always delivers, as we saw in the hundreds of games I've cast of this guy, and Hive has delivered so far in one game that we've seen. Is he gonna deliver again? I don't know. Wait and see. So Burgersasu goes for barracks, supply depot, and a gas. Scouts with the SCV and the Marine. Yeah, the gas is pretty early, and that is because he would like to go for either a fast academy, or he would like to go for a fast factory, or he's going to go for a fast commencer. I'm not too sure, really. There's a lot of options on the table here. And we've got a double gateway there after. So we got a pylon nexus gateway gas. Gateway pylon, and then we have a cybercore and a forge in the back for Hive here. This is not something I have actually ever seen done in this particular way. This is a little bit different than usual. He's got the Zell there out to protect the front. Luckily for him, Burgersasu has not found him yet. He will very soon though. But I doubt that he's going to have the units required to really deal some damage there to try and break through. Got a fast academy there from Burgersasu. So it's going to be a fast stim, maybe fast medic firebat. One of those two combined. The SFV there finds Hive's base and finds what he's been up to. Sees the double gateways. He's going to go further down and see the cyber core and the fort. He's going to go to the backside and see the single gas. He sees the single gas. But I kind of think that Burgersasu is wondering what Hive is planning exactly, because this is all quite ambiguous. Although he didn't see this one. If he can still scout all the way around and find the Citadel of Adun, we might find out what he is planning, but he runs away. So he doesn't actually see the Citadel of Adun, which is actually a pretty important piece of the puzzle, actually. It really says a lot about what Burgersasu should be doing, how he should prepare, how he should respond, because this is going to be Dark Templars for sure. You don't have a robo on the way yet. It has to be Dark Templars. So this is, I guess, a fast Dark Templar build order from Hive. The specific order of buildings, I'm not sure if I entirely agree with it, because as you can see, he has a surplus of gas, more than he actually needs, so everything has been delayed quite a little bit. We got a robo on the way in the front. We have 5 cannons in the front to protect against this firebat medic stim attack he's going to try to pull off now. Got a gateway there. That's a pylon. Usually players build a gateway here to reduce the surface area, to kind of create a choke point that's smaller than his wide open area to go through. So far, Burgersasu is standing there, which also, has its own purpose. It forces Hive to spend more on the choke, which should slow everything in the back down a little bit more, because if money goes to the front, it isn't going to technology. Let's put it like that. So it is a double robo. We have Dark Templars on the way. Wondering if he's going to go for Shuttle Speed Reaver or Shuttle High Templar after the Dark Templar drop. We got a robo there on the way in the back. That Shuttle there almost finished up in the front. We got 6 Zealots in the front. He's still producing from those 2 gateways, but it's all Dark Templars. Burgersasu went for a 2nd CC and a 3rd CC. And an Engineering Bay there as well. He has very little at the moment in his own base. He really put a lot of money into the 2 extra command centers, still only on double barracks. Siege tank is on the way and so is siege mode. He's going to build a turret in the front to make sure that the Dark Templars that are allegedly on the way are not going to be much of a deal for him. He's got scan energy for his scan, adding on 2 more barracks to probably rely on the Marine Stim defense against the drops, which tends to be the best form of defense when you're on a middle spawn location, because there's just more angles for shuttles to fly in from. So he's going to shuttle in some 2 Zealots as well. Maybe he's just going to move the Zealots into... He's using the Zealots to kill Marines if there were in fact Marines on the side. So attempts at getting into the base. He knows it's happening because he had a turret there. He had vision of it happening. He has a scan, scans 1, kills 1. The one on the top side is over there. He doesn't have scan for that one yet. He's on the way. He goes 1 SCV, 2 SCV. He's going to run to the top side or to the bottom side. Goes towards the SCVs there on the minerals. He's going to kill SCVs on the minerals, which is pretty good. Because he already has 4. He's going to go for 5. Nope, going to stay on 4. Gets 1 Marine. That Dark Templar drop really didn't do that much. It was annoying. It forced him to use scans in his own base, which does have the added benefit of not scanning the enemy base, which is great, but was it worth it? He delayed his drop by a lot. The 2 Dark Templars didn't achieve too much. He is pretty far ahead though, and he's getting a 3rd Nexus as well. Keeps 1 Dark Templar back at home. That's Shuttle Speed on the way, Storm on the way, Zettel Speed on the way, level 1 Armor on the way, and Air Armor on the way. And getting his 3rd gateways, triple robo there in the front. The shuttle is right here back at home. It flew back home. He's making a 2nd and a 3rd and a 4th shuttle. So he's going to load up a big, strong drop. But he's still waiting for shuttle speed before he... shuttle speed is almost finished up. So yeah, he will be able to go in pretty hard, pretty fast. The next wave on the robos is not yet in production. Building more High Templars. We got a scan from Burgersasu in the back. Sees the High Templars coming out of the gateways, which gives him honestly enough information to deduce that, yeah, it's going to be drops from here on out. It's going to be shuttle drops and most likely High Templar drops. But first we have a Reaver drop with a High Templar and 2 Zealots coming from the top side there. Burgersasu responds to it a little bit slowly. The Marines split up, but most of the Marines do die. The Reavers both die, so that's a pretty good move there. The High Templar killed some of those Marines, but the Zealots are now on the chase. We've got 2 tanks sieged up that are going to finish the job. That drop didn't really... I would say that drop did not do enough. Because on the 5 barracks, soon 6, he can rebuild those Marines pretty quickly. Plus, the time it takes for Hive to send in a new drop is gonna allow Burgersasu to, of course, get these structures lifted up onto the high ground and build a couple more turrets on the sides to make the drops a little bit harder to fly in for Hive. But this game right now is looking pretty good for Burgersasu. He's on 50 SCVs, which is about 18 behind on Hive, but that is okay at this point in the game. The supply counts are... The difference in the supply counts is really just the worker count. Both have about equal size armies. But the question is going to be, can Burgersasu prepare himself enough to keep his workers alive or to keep his important units that are his defense alive against these drops? Because we have a pretty big drop there coming over the bottom side that might just spell a nasty surprise. Comes in, flies in, starts unloading, but gets sniped out of the sky. A Templar gets sniped as well, and really nothing of significance manages to unload. The defense is pretty on point. The defense is pretty on point here from Burgersasu. There's a bunker in between. He's going to kill the turrets because the turrets are misaligned. Got a tank up coming in there from Burgersasu over the bottom side. We've got a cannon. High Templars on the scene. High Templars going to storm on the tank. Tank goes down before it can kill anything. There's a 2nd tank which gets taken down as well. It can shoot. It actually kills 25 probes or more even. He's down to 49. I thought that one would die, but look at this. 2 cannons plus a High Templar, 1 cannon, and a High Templar. So the one cannon plus High Templar were not enough to kill the tank before it could shoot. Now that is a huge win for Burgersasu. He's now ahead of his opponent, which is always the worst case scenario. As the Protoss, you do not want to be behind on workers compared to the Terran, and it just happened. And you know what? It happened against one of the worst players for that to happen against, Burgersasu, who is an absolute monster of a player. So we got this drop here coming in at the bottom side, looking for this very... Well, he killed a turret just now to, you know, reorganize his base, but it made the drop a little bit easier, and he target fires the shuttles really well. And everything that unloaded, High Templar unloads, but it just dies too quick. Burgersasu's defense is on point. Target firing, stimming, everything combined. This takes down his units really quick, and the level 1 attack on the Marines of course helps a bunch. And we also have 2 armies on the way there, or all finished up, getting level 1 ground attack and plating for the siege tanks. He has a pretty good sizable base at the moment, 60 SCVs. He could use a couple more, of course, but he will get there sooner or later. He is no longer supply blocked. He has reorganized his supply depot section. The turrets are growing in numbers. He's sending Marines out onto the map, which will slowly kill these turrets, but also give him vision of the map. And we have Hive already back on 72 probes because he has triple nexus, so the recovery was pretty quick. But he has lost a lot of valuable time to recovering, because losing 25 SCVs does slow you down a lot. 25 probes does slow you down a lot. He's looking for a way in. The Dark Templar has cleared out a path. Marines are running to the top side. He spots the drop, goes in. Does Burgersasu respond to this one on time? Yes, it does look like he does. He's unloading units on the scene. High Templar is pretty far. He actually gets a really good storm off. He actually got a really good storm off. I think he killed about 20 SCVs. That's a great one. Burgersasu was not expecting the High Templar to stay alive for that long, but there were so many Zealots and Reavers in between that drop. They distracted away from the High Templar for long enough for High Templar to storm, and Burgersasu was caught by surprise. He thought it could not hit, but boy was it wrong, it could. The Templar that could hit him pretty hard right in the face, where it counts right in the economy. But Burgersasu, instead of sitting around and waiting, is actually going to use this opportunity to just send out a counterattack. He scanned the entire base of Hive and concluded that, you know what, there is a pretty good chance for me to go for a counter push, and I am not entirely sure if I agree. His economy looks to be, I'd say, about fine. He's got a lot of Marine production. Marines are cheap. Tanks in the middle there, fighting against the Zealots. The upgrades are in 1-1-1 there for the Zealots. High Templars are loading on the scene. Great move there. Unloads High Templar, storms on the Marines, but the Marines do not, well, a couple of Marines do die, but the tanks largely stay alive. But it's a large force there from Hive pushing Burgersasu back, and Burgersasu makes his retreat back home, where he now has 155, 176, 67 supply, actually, 170. His supply is growing really rapidly. But Hive enters Burgersasu's base, and the fight now continues inside his base. Reavers unload, Reavers in the back there, going to shoot on the tanks. He's going to get a shot off. He gets a shot off, and he hits him pretty hard, but everything needs another storm to die. Marines stepping forward with their level 2 attack. That's a great upgrade to have. Players usually don't go for the Marine upgrades on defense, because usually it is the Storms and the Reavers that kill them, and Storms and Scarabs are not affected by armor. So 2 factors there in the front, producing Vultures. He has a pretty wide open front. Hive has managed to push Burgersasu back. Perhaps it was not yet the right time for Burgersasu to attack. But Burgersasu is adjusting. 66 SCVs. He's still only on 5 gas, which, you know, is almost enough when you're only producing on 6 factories. With a machine shop, pushes forward, using the Marines there to push the Zealots away, pulls the Zealots back further away. We've got a fleet beacon on the way, we've got more Gaos on the way. He's finally mixing Corsairs back into his drops. He's getting a fleet beacon somewhere, and the second Cyber Core drop there over the bottom side. He responds. He will have to pull his SCVs. He's got no snipes the High Templar. Very risky move. You could either pull your SCVs to safety, which is a higher success rate, it's safer to do, or you can try to target fire the High Templar before it can storm on your SCVs, which really just depends and relies on Which of the two players is the fastest? Oh, got the gateways there on the bottom coming up. He scans it. This is a proxy drop base. So that if this dies, he can still drop from over here. Which would be kind of unexpected for Burgersasu. But Burgersasu has seen it, but it gets pushed back by a couple of zealots that are protecting the middle of the map. They're holding the lines. Another drop there being prepared. He has 8 gateways, and 6 gateways. That makes a total of 22 gateways there here, back at home. Only 1 Stargate there though. The fleet beacon is largely just there to get more air upgrades. It's currently on 110. Goes on the bottom side. The Zealots are on upgrade level 211. It goes on the bottom side. Unloads. Getting shot on by the tanks. Great storms on the Marines, but the Marines are too strong, too great in numbers. And they do stim everything down quite quickly. Although that's another pretty good storm. A lot of Marines died. But I don't think Burgersasu cares because he's on 170 supply and he's been replacing the Marines with tanks, Goliaths, and maybe Vultures. I'm not too sure, but he's switching to a full-on mech army. The Marines are a thing of the past. He still uses them a little bit, but they're largely a thing of the past. He might switch over to Ghosts with Lockdown to lock those shuttles down, or maybe even lock the carriers down if carriers are at some point in the making for Hive. So now he first has to clean out this here on the bottom corner. This has to die first before he can safely push towards Hive's base. If he doesn't take care of this, this will always be a thorn in his side. Drop comes in while it still can over the bottom side, flies in over the turrets. There's not much defense here for Burgersasu. A lot of Marines just died earlier. He unloads the Reaver way too far away. Templar storms on the SCVs, but SCVs run to safety. And this drop actually does a pretty good job of disrupting the economy and taking the focus away from everything else. Burgersasu has to focus on clearing this out. This takes a lot of time. As you can see, it takes him a lot of time to do. A couple of SCVs do die. He still has 64 on the minerals, which is honestly enough. You don't need more than 62 or 64 as a Terran when you have entered late game. He also didn't fill out all of his gas. He's comfortable on only 7 gas instead of 10. Not sure if I agree, but Burgersasu, I believe in him. I believe that he's making the right choice. He's better than I am. Is he making the right choice? Drop comes in yet again, flies over the tanks. He knows it's coming in. Will he respond? He responds. He unsieges. Goliath's moving in. SCVs are blocking the pathway. Unloads on the scene. Where are the SCVs going? They're running to the corners. Are there actually... Yeah, there's a High Templar in between, storming on the SCVs as they make their retreat, and a lot of them do die. He goes from 62, maybe even 64, down to 39. He got him pretty good. Now that is a bad sign. That's a bad sign. He does have minerals left in the bank. 3,300. He can easily rebuild SCVs with these 4 command centers, which make 4 SCVs each per minute. So it will only take about 2 minutes to recover his economy. And while that was happening, he's put his tanks in position, but another drop comes in over the top side. He's gonna have to run to safety. Templars unloading. He runs away safely, but the SCVs were already on low HP. Another 7 of them do go down pretty quickly. That was gnarly. Drop from the front comes in. Hive is on fire. Ooh, he gets a storm off, but hits the tank. Hive is on fire. That was a triple drop entendre. Beautifully done. But while it was happening, Burgersasu has decided to enter Ultra Instinct mode and put himself into overdrive, and he's pushing across the map to try and end Hive once and for all. Can he do it? Can Hive hold on, or will Burgersasu end the game? Burgersasu, having only 42 SCVs, has a huge army to fight with. He tries to bomb on top of this army there on the bottom side, but the defensive matrix keeps the tank alive. The Marines are keeping the tanks alive as well, and that drop does not do the job. But it did kill a bunch of supply for Burgersasu, who's now on low money. He's now on low money, as Burgersasu is pushing forward, but he still has that army supply advantage. And Hive only has 22 gateways. Which sounds weird to say, only 22, but 22 is a lot. He scanned the entire base, he scanned the entire map. Hive is maybe starting to doubt his chances. because Burgersasu looks very strong. A lot of vultures there in between. A lot of zealots are coming with a surround. Might these zealots do the job? I don't think they will, because the vultures in the front are very strong, shredding those shields down very quickly. He needs storms on the Goliath and the tanks, but what he does not have is storms. Got one drop there going to the bottom side. Or is this a probe? He's going to try to build a proxy base really quickly while he is losing his main base. He also killed a bunch of his own probes to open up supply space to try and match Burgersasu's army, but Burgersasu is in the middle of Hive's base, and Hive is sending units in to try and deal with this, but Burgersasu is actually just on fire. Burgersasu's played this like a monster. But both their armies have shrunk quite considerably, but his units are dying as soon as they come out of the gateways. So his army is just going to remain smaller and smaller than Burgersasu's, and Burgersasu on 54 SCVs is managing to keep up production at a higher pace than Hive. He's making it work. He's making it work. It must be a GG. This is it. Burgersasu played this one beautifully. Made a few mistakes. Hive had a couple of really good drops. But Burgersasu's drop defense has been honed by years of playing against the very best in the world. Very good drops are not going to be enough to take Burgersasu down, because his drop defense, as we saw, is supreme elite. It is on another level. Very nicely played. I also like that his base is kind of a mess. He also didn't wait around for too long. He tried to take his chances at attacking pretty early, pretty quickly. His base is not pretty. He doesn't have as many factories as some other players would go for. He's got 9 there, which is a pretty good number. Not all of them have machine shops. He only has 6 machine shops. Everything else is factories that are meant to build vultures or Goliaths. There's a great mix of units, and he kind of rolled Hive over a second time. I'm kind of impressed. Although the last game he did eventually lose to the mind-controlled tanks, but nonetheless, Burgersasu with a solid performance. I liked it.